That's better. Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. So, once again, last night I was thinking of video ideas, and I had just interviewed, as some of you know, the great drummer for the Ruddles, John Halsley. That's hard for me to say. And it's on my Canadian Studmuffin channel, so if you haven't seen the interview, it should be here somewhere. And I really enjoyed the interview, and just really interesting talking to John and about his, he met George Harrison, and he also met Paul McCartney back in 1964. And of course, he was the drummer for the great band Pato in the early 70s and the 60s band Time Box. So check out that interview and leave a comment below on that video. So what got me thinking was the Ruddles, really, at the time the Ruddles album came out in 1978, it's the only one that ever came out. Even though it's an imaginary band, I've included it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a top 10. And these are just for albums that I own. You might have other albums that, Jeff Buckley, Grace, he only released one album. Plus, I'm just focusing on bands also. So, the premise is 10 bands that only released one album. And guess what I'm going to do? That's right, I'm going to rank them. And just before I get into the ranking, I'll show 10 to 1 in half a minute. So as some of you know, I'm really into Donovan lately. And I have Mellow Yellow and Sunshine Superman. In the morning, I don't know what happened, but I had some CDs on my side table. And I'm getting out of bed, and 4 or 5 CDs fall on the floor. And they were okay. They weren't hurt. Although, this one, I went to pick it up. And there was no CD in here, which isn't a good sign, because the CD was in here. So I looked under the bed, and there it was, glowing. And it is marked up, and I'm a little concerned. I think it's going to be okay, but it's got this. I think it's too hard to pick up, but it's not scratched. But like I said, there's like a scruff mark, like kind of across it, and little marks. And I did clean it the best I could. And so I'm just hoping it plays. Oh yeah, here goes the ranking. So these are 10 bands that only made one album. I might be kind of cheating a little bit with a couple of them. One of them actually isn't even a band, but that's what I needed to focus on. Because, there's some single artists I have, Dennis Wilson, Kim Deal. Is that her first solo album? I love that album, by the way. But anyway, let's get on with it here. This is a solo artist and a band, and they're in 10th place. It's Lou Reed and Metallica, Lulu. I don't hate this album. I actually need to actually listen to it again. That's great grammar. The last time, I've only played it through once, all the way through, and it was for a YouTube video. And it wasn't bad. It was for the Does This Album Suck series. It didn't suck. I thought it was okay. It didn't, And I'm a big fan of Lou Reed and just so on Metallica. But like I said, at the moment it's at number 10, but it might move up because I do need to listen to this again. Let me know if you're a fan of Lulu. Yes, number 9, even though it's worse than number 10, I would just, between the two albums right now, I would rather listen to The Shakes, Philosophy of the World, the only album they ever released. I know there was a later one, but this was their only real, authentic studio album as far as I know. But I could be wrong, because I was wrong once before in 2009. Number 8 definitely only made one album. And the drummer was somebody named Phil Collins. I don't know if you've ever heard of him before. The band is Flaming Youth, and the album is called Art 2. There's Phil there. It's actually, the production is not great. It's good, but it's not great. But the album is kind of a mixture of pop, rock, psychedelia, prog rock. It's kind of a fun listen. It's not bad at all. I'm going to rate these. For now, I'll give this like a 6 out of 10. I'll give this a 6 out of 10. I'll give this a 7 out of 10. It's actually, a good album. Number 7. Now, this isn't a band. What am I thinking? But it's a duo. And I've had this in my collection for at least 5 years, and I had it on vinyl back in the early 70s. I bought it in a cutout bin for, like $1 or whatever. And I kind of liked it, especially, a couple of songs. And then when I bought it remastered on CD, it is, it's kind of a cult classic. I liked it, but, I hardly ever played it. I just wanted it in my collection. Memories from my childhood, I guess. But about a month ago, I listened to this all the way through, and it was the very first time I really, really enjoyed it. It's Judy Henske and Jerry Yester, Farewell Aldebaran, or however you want to call it. I love that psychedelic cover. And there's the actual cover before they manipulated it. But yeah, there's the hype sticker if you want to pause to read it. So I don't want to go overboard with the rating, but I would give this at least I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Number 6, I've talked about this album, or this band a few times. Their only album from 1966. I consider this so ahead of its time. They were basically doing punk rock music back in 1966. It's the Monks with Black Monk Time. Here's the track listing. And this is still a cult album, I guess, but it's a very popular one. Monks are pretty well known in rock music. Now, number 5 is cheating a little bit because this album wasn't released at the time. But it was released just a few years back, officially. And it's before they changed their name to Blue Oyster Cult. They were called Stock Forest Group. And, I never rated that. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It's excellent. So, yeah, Blue Oyster Cult, Stock Forest Group, St. Cecilia, the Electra Recordings. If you love Blue Oyster Cult and you haven't heard this, it's a must, because I was blown away by how good it is. And there's even a little bit of a Grateful Dead vibe to the sound, more psychedelic, but still highly recommended. Here's Eric Bloom and the rest of them. Buck Dharma, one of my all-time favorite guitarists. Ooh, we're getting to number 1. So number 4, I rarely play, but when it came out, I played it a lot. So I do know the album very well, and I love it. I would give it a 9 out of 10 also. It's FFS, which stands for Franz Ferdinand Sparks. It's when they did their collaboration about over 10 years ago now. But this is a great album. And I did see them in concert in Toronto in 2015, I believe. I should play this again because it is great. Yeah, if you haven't heard FFS and you're curious, check out the video Johnny Delusional, and it's a great video too. So the top 3. This is difficult because all 3 are 10 out of 10s. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the ranking. Number 3. And yeah, they released other albums, but they were like compilations or whatever. This is their only studio album. Never mind the Bullocks. Here's the Sex Pistols. And I just think, I guess it's considered a punk rock album. But for me, it's just great rock music. And I have played this a lot through the years. Love it. Number 2, John Helsley is going to be so happy. It's the friggin' Ruddles. And I guess the way I connected with John was his keyboardist or bassist. And I'm maybe John had seen the video also, but I did a video a couple of months ago on the Ruddles talking about how great this is. And that's when they contacted me for wanting to do an interview with me, little old me. So yeah, the Ruddles. Most of you that are Beatles fans know how great this album is. I can't say it's as great as the Beatles songs, but it's so close to being on par with the Beatles. And like John was saying, there's even songs on this that aren't even, like something like Piggy in the Middle is, of course, a takeoff on I Am the Walrus. But there's some that are just great pop songs. They're not even kind of related to the Beatles, like I Must Be in Love, right? Good Times Roll. And then, other ones like Cheese and Onions are definitely related more to the Beatles. But love the Ruddles. What's that? What's number 1? It's none of your business. Just joking. Oh, I played this again last night. I am going to do a video again at some point where my most listened to albums. This would definitely be in the top 10. And I don't know why, because even the genre of music, it's like blues, rock, jammy kind of music, which I'm not, the biggest fan of. But something about this album, and I love every song. It is Blind Faith. I even love the final song, which, some fans of this album aren't a fan of, like Do What You Like, which is over 15 minutes long. It's got this drum solo. I find it all excellent. And of course, there's Eric Clapton, the very nice, friendly Ginger Baker, Rick Gretsch, and Steve Winwood. Yeah. Top 10 album for me. Excluding the Beatles and Sparks. So that is it. I would love your thoughts. And what other bands that you have in your collection are you a fan of that only released one album? Thank you for watching. Please remember to like the video. Please. And leave a comment below. And make sure you're subscribed to both channels. Thank you. Goodbye.